Hello, you're very welcome to Enda's Boxing Universe, the review part two. This time I've got a special guest with me, the whole way from the home of boxing in the United Kingdom, Telford. It's Darren Aston. Hi, Darren. How are you?
Hi, how you doing, mate? All good, thanks.
So I met you at the boxing at the weekend, and you seemed to enjoy it. It was a great night, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was an absolutely fantastic night of boxing. The only criticism you can have, it went on little bit too long.
Well, I
Went
actually
on a bit late.
wasn't criticising that because my bus wasn't until 3 o'clock. So the longer it went on, the better it was for me.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
No,
agreed.
no, it was a long night, and I could have done with some of that hype. Was that the stuff that the ring girls were feeding me the last time? And there was none of that this time, and I was getting tired as well. And there
Yeah,
was no tea for some reason. No tea. You couldn't buy tea.
I know. The only you couldn't even take any drinks ringside, could you? I think I saw you with a bottle of water. I tried to sneak a bottle in, they wouldn't let me in with it.
I think you'll find they legally have to allow you to have water, but anyway,
Well, I went and
security.
got some, and when I went to walk back through the gate, they said no, you have to drink it that side of the barrier.
That,
Hmm.
it's well, they have their own rules, and obviously there was probably incidents in the past which led to that. So I won't
Yeah.
criticize them too much, but sometimes they can be heavy-handed, and
Mm.
it's amazing. Different places, the rules that security get very specific about tend to be very different. Like one place, everything's fine except for Y, and another place, everything's fine except for Z. But we'll
Yeah.
never know. But yeah, no, I absolutely thought it was a great night of boxing. Do you want to start at the top or start at the bottom?
Start at the first fight if you want on the main card.
Yeah. What was the first fight in the main card? Because it's kind of
Pierce
like,
O'Leary, was it?
sorry,
Was it Pierce
Pierce O'Leary.
O'Leary?
Yeah, we can start with Pierce O'Leary's fight. That's not a problem. Pierce, good guy from Ireland. He likes knocking guys out early, but this fight went a little bit longer, and I think it was a good thing in the end, and it was a good test of his mettle. I mean, he had him down in the first, but then his opponent really rallied back on up until the ninth round, where
Yep.
Pierce got the big bang in, and that was the end of it for his opponent. What did you make of Pierce? Pierce.
Yeah, I thought it was a good performance, like you say, against a very tough opponent. I mean, he got the when he got the knockdown early. I thought, oh, we're in for a short fight here. But like
So
you
did
say,
I.
yeah, his opponent rallied back well, and
Yeah.
like you say, I thought it was a real good test for him. And at one point, the other guy was started landing a little bit, and I thought, are we going to see a bit of an upset here? But
Yeah, because Pierce hadn't been that, dragged into the trenches as it were before. But,
yeah,
he did, and he that way boxers maybe sometimes have a round off where they're kind of conserving their energy. That
yeah,
probably happened to Pierce, but he came back in the ninth with a bang, literally.
yeah,
And it was Good Night Irene. And I was talking to Frank Warren, and the clips on my page, about Pierce, because Pierce was added late to this. And I think
yeah, it was, yeah,
he made, because he wasn't a different show, but obviously St. Patrick's weekend, you got to have an Irish boxer on the show. So, but I mean, even in the plane I was flying over, there was full of guys from Docklands, the boxing club where he trained. They were
mm,
all there, and they were all going to see Pierce O'Leary. So big shout out to those guys. They said they'd look at my channel, but given I hadn't told them what it was, I don't know how they'll find it. But if they do, best of luck to them.
yeah,
But no, I was very impressed with Pierce. Like Pierce, why am I calling him Pierce? Pierce. It's really good. He ticked a lot of boxes, and he's going to be a fan favorite with that style. So that was that was really good.
mm.
So after Pierce, then Pierce, we'll move on to Zach Parker.
No, it was Owen Cooper, I think,
Oh,
Brad
sorry.
Strand.
No, I'm just reading this, and it's not in any particular order for some reason.
I think it was Owen Cooper and
Yeah, Ethan James.
Ethan James. Yeah, Ethan
Yeah, and that
James.
was another very good fight.
Well, I actually said to a few people at ringside, I actually tweeted about this. The two opening fights of the show for a main card, I don't think I've seen more two exciting fights than what they were.
They really, really were. And
Brilliant
we'll
fights.
get on into a minute how there was a bit of a lull then afterwards, but Jesus,
Yeah,
these two fights were brilliant.
yeah,
And Owen Cooper, like he that this is for the English title, and the WBO European welter. But fair play to them. Ethan James, I mean, like it went 9 rounds, and James was down in the first, like we had with Pierce's fight. But it was a really good scrap, and fair play to James. He was very game,
He took some, you know what? He took some big blows in that fight. He got caught several times.
That was Munch, wasn't it?
Oh, there was some of the blows. I mean, for me, being that close to ringside is a first. And to hear some of the blows landing on Ethan James and he took them, I think you've got to say hats off to him the way he took. I mean,
but
it was a blistering. Go on, sorry.
Didn't I give him the nickname Munch from 2 Pints?
I don't know.
Maybe it wasn't you. I said it. Just said it reminded me. Did you watch? Do you know 2 Pints of Lager?
I haven't really watched it, no.
Okay, well, there's a character in it called Munch, and he reminded me of him. But like you said, hats off to him for taking that punishment. It was a great scrap. It really, really was.
Owen
You're
Cooper,
the order now because I haven't got the order. So Parker was next, wasn't he?
Well, I was just going to say, Owen Cooper's support in the arena as well was superb. He always gets a very good following, and he pulled off a great performance as well.
Where's Owen from?
Worcester. Worcester in the Midlands, so not too far.
In the Midlands, so it's not far, yeah. No. He did. There was a great support for so many of the fighters on the card. Like, they all brought their entourages. Obviously, none bigger than Mr. Heaney, but I have to say, Brad Paul's Cornwall support behind me was very loud.
Yeah,
But, so the next fight, what was the next fight then in order?
Was it Dennis McCann?
Anyway, we'll talk about Dennis's fight. This was a kind of a lull for me. Dennis, he doesn't really have any knockout power as such. He did have his man down, but, Brad was well able for it. And I mean, it went to 12 rounds. It was always going to be a 12 rounds wide points decision. And that was
I actually done another chat show where I actually was expecting Dennis McCann to make a bit of a statement here, maybe at a late stoppage, but he was pretty dominant.
But I did make the comment. I said he can say he's going to do that, but he won't, and I was proven correct. I said he will win by points. He will not stop him, and not to be, I'm so great. I'm not, but I just don't see the power there in Dennis McCann. There isn't.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But they're saying next for him, he's going to go on to the Baluta rematch. And he's talking about knocking Baluta out. It's not going to happen, is it?
No, unless he has some of Conor Benn's eggs, I don't think it definitely happened, But, so we get on to Zach Parker then next.
This, for me, was the stinker of the evening.
Oh, it absolutely stunk the place out.
He didn't get dropped. Did he get wobbled? Was it? He got wobbled.
No, he was down officially in the second.
Oh yeah, he was, wasn't he? Thought he took too many shots early.
Yeah.
I thought he's very lackluster. I thought he was not really willing to engage. I don't think he showed much power. I thought it was just very poor performance for me. When they were talking about what they think Zach Parker could be, I thought it was a very poor performance, in all honesty.
Yeah, it really, compared to what had gone before it, it really didn't help. And speaking of things that didn't help, we get on to Joe Joyce's comeback.
For me, the reason why Joe Joyce didn't lose this fight is because Cash Ali didn't have any power.
Exactly, but sure, that's why Cash Ali was picked. He was picked to be knocked out.
He was, and it nearly went where it would have been. I mean, I felt a bit sorry for Cash, actually, because for me, I wanted him to go the distance, even though a bit negative at times. I thought he rode the shots quite well. I thought he covered up well. A bit negative with throwing his shots, but when he threw them big shots, he landed so many times, but he didn't have the power of Zhang to stop Joe Joyce. Whereas Parker, when he hit Joe Joyce, was exactly the same. And that's where Parker lost the fight against Joe Joyce. He could not put him away. Yeah. If you cannot put Joe Joyce away, he can wear you down.
Oh yeah, I mean, and Joyce is the juggernaut. Like he'll just keep coming forward. He moves like molasses. Like it's slow, but it will just you smother you. And I mean, if he lands one of his big punches, then it really is, you know, that. But
But you know what? Obviously, like I've said, being ringside, I haven't been that close before. I saw how powerful Joyce can be, but
oh
honestly,
yeah,
when you see it in the flesh, how slow are his hands,
mm.
Joyce. His hands are slow,
Oh yeah,
and
very slow. I mean, you know, like as I said,
yeah,
he moves like treacle. It's shockingly so. Now I'm going to get on to your guy. The this was officially the main, but obviously it was second because they wanted all the crowd to stay. So it was Liam Davis against Eric Robles for the IBO World Super Bantamweight title, which is vacant. I know the IBO isn't a prestigious world or an official, you know, world crown, but it's a world crown nonetheless. So what did you
mm.
make of your local man there?
But I was just going to correct you as well. You said at the start about being I'm from Birmingham, not Telford, but he's local to me.
Sorry.
That's all right, no problem. I thought it was a blistering performance. I was not expecting that. I thought it'd probably be a very close points decision to Liam Davis, but he come out the blocks absolutely on fire, and I thought he made a massive statement, and you could see how pleased Frank Warren was for him. He was so excited at ringside seeing that performance, and I actually saw Frank Warren say to him, you're one of the best fighters in this country, or something like that. I saw him say it to
Well, I
him, and
mean, he is, and I mean, you know, like I mean, Telford is there, and it's crying out for its own champion. And I think, you know, Liam Davis could. I mean, I know super bantamweight is a tricky division to say the least,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
but like he could definitely have some big fights in Telford or even in Birmingham as well. I mean, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
and then maybe you know fight on the undercard of Fury or one of the other big guys that Frank Warren has. No, Liam Davis is definitely one that I've put on my to watch list. You know, I
yeah,
was
yeah.
very impressed with him, and
He's exciting, and the thing is, obviously, what Rob Blair's done to Lee McGregor. I know Styles make fights, but the way Rob Blair's like beat Lee McGregor and then Liam Davis blast him out like that's a massive statement, really.
oh, it's a huge, but it's a statement that you know says Davis belongs at world level, and I know
Yeah,
you know
definitely.
it's just unfortunate for him, you know who the champion is, but nonetheless, it's there's it's you know he can definitely be involved in some great world level fights. There's no doubt
Yeah,
about it. But
definitely.
now we're going to talk about the main event.
I remember discussing this with you at ringside after the fight, and you didn't agree with me.
Yeah, we actually have different opinions on it. Like, because I had Brad Pauls winning that fight by 4 rounds. Now,
I
you,
mean, that's
what
a bit
result did you
extreme.
have?
Probably Heaney by one,
Hmm.
maybe two. I did agree with some of what you said to me at ringside about like the gum shield thing, and
Yeah, no, I mean that was a
uh,
disgrace, and I've even watched it. He stopped the fight mid-action to put back the gum shield. I have never seen that. If the gum shield falls out, you put it back at the first available opportunity. You know, a
yeah,
lull. Not you don't split up the fighters. He was doing his best when Heaney was injured and Heaney was, you know, groggy as hell to give Heaney as much time as possible. I mean,
I did notice that.
the
Yeah,
second time the gum shield came out, they spent they, they, you know, the first time they just washed it and put it back. The second time, sure, Jesus, they took forever, and it was
mm,
clearly, you know, gamesmanship and you know taking the piss. And if the
mm,
referee didn't mind, well, they were going to keep doing it. And a third time it happened, and then
mm,
that rabbit punch. Now people say, "Oh, punches in the back of the head," but this was a proper rabbit punch that I hadn't seen in a long time in a ring. And the referee
mm,
just cautioned him about it. After all the crap that had happened, he should have been getting
mm,
a warning at this point. You know,
mm,
and I just think it was because Nathan Heaney sells tickets. He's the cash cow. They were terrified that he wasn't going to win. And I mean, I always say if you're an away fighter and you get a draw, that means you've won. You
mm,
know, and to
mm,
me, Brad Pauls won that fight. Okay, maybe not as wide as my score. I'll concede that, you know, because there was a round or two there that could swing. But
mm,
given what he did, and especially in the 9th round, like.
Don't you think Heaney done well to stand up though? In them, was it?
But I mean, when you
12?
spit out your gum shield and the referee gives you like 30 seconds to recover, is that doing well?
I agree with you on that. I thought
is
he
excessive holding. I mean, Heaney was holding, and that should have been broken up.
Yeah. And
So,
he definitely did get the time in the corner with the gum shield. I do agree with that.
He did. And I mean, and I asked Heaney if he wanted an interview, and he got all pissy about it, and he said, oh, well, after what you said about me, I don't think so. So,
I really like.
Yes. So, like Ryan Shawcross wasn't that type of player in his tackle on Aaron Ramsey, I'm sure Nathan Heaney isn't that type of boxer to deliberately spit out his gum shield 3 times and excessive holding, and what is for me, a very definite rabbit punch that should have definitely got.
Well, I saw his live Facebook where
I didn't, because that was what he was pointing me to. And what was his excuse for the?
He said about something about his gum shield. He changed it or something. It was something about the fitting, and it was coming out easy.
Yeah,
and he said about
it's amazing it didn't come out easy until Brad Pauls hurt him. It wasn't coming out before then.
I think you're giving him a little bit of injustice, really. I can see some of your points.
What have I said that is an injustice? I'm open to this.
Well, I thought he nicked the fight.
No. About the gum shields. Or do you think I'm correct on that?
I'm not saying he didn't bide a bit of time, and I think the ref. I do agree with your points about the ref should have done it at a different time, and I do agree the time helped him in the corner. I'm not so sure he spat it out that many times. Like maybe.
Well, no, he did spit it out 3 times. That's fact. You can look back on the tapes. It's 3 times. Even he's conceded that. Boxing News, they said it was 3 times. I'm not making up 3 times. It was 3 times.
Yeah, but like what you're saying is you thought he deliberately spat it out, don't you? Like I'm not so sure. Like that's sort of like.
Well, the first time might have been, it was punched heavily out of his mouth. I can see that. But when he saw the advantage that gave him, he was like, that's handy. But why the referee stopped the fight when he did, I'll never know. Well, I do know why. Because the referee, is a homer. He sticks with the home corner. That just stuck in my craw a bit. And I mean, we talk about fairness in boxing and everybody wants fair play. And he can hand out tickets to every nursing home in the UK. But he didn't impress me with his antics on Saturday night. Okay, it's the dark arts, it's whatever. But no, it's cheating,
What would you like to see the rematch next?
Yes, absolutely. Pauls deserves the rematch, and he deserves a better referee refereeing it too.
I agree with you on the rematch, but from what I've seen of his Facebook Live, I don't believe we'll see that next because he said
of course he won't.
They said about Brad Lawrence
against Brad Pauls. I was saying they were underestimating Brad Pauls, and I was proven correct. So no, Heaney's going to run away. He's going to get.
I agree with you on that. I thought it'd be a close fight. I did, yeah.
He's going to get a cheap world title shot from Uncle Frank, and he'll have it in the Bet365 stadium. And sure, who knows? He might even get the decision.
Who do you think? Who do you think he'll fight there then?
I don't know, but it will. Like,
who do you think he'll fight? You think?
Like it's middleweight, so I mean it's fairly weak, but I'm not sure he could beat any of the middleweight title holders currently. But I'm sure Uncle Frank will find someone. And like the British fight, I couldn't get over the performance from the other corner on that. I just thought it was dreadful. I mean, Heaney deserved to win that fight that night 100%, but I was not impressed with the other corner whatsoever. But if Heaney vacates, I hope Paul gets to fight for the British title. Again.
Yeah, I was impressed with him. The one thing I will say, and I've said this to everyone, them 2 fighters were absolutely fit as fiddles, dedicated. Oh, yeah. You could tell they wore their heart on their sleeves in their fight. 2 guys absolutely giving it everything they've got.
Yeah,
and I thought it was a fantastic fight.
Let me not be so negative about it. That was a brilliant fight. That was a great fight. Yeah. It was an exciting fight. It had everything. And both guys are willing to commit. And I mean, and Paul's put it all into that round 9 and to be kind of, to not get his flowers for it. I mean, when I heard a draw, it was like, well, that's as close you can say to the away fighter won, but we just don't want to give it to him. Anytime I hear a draw, but listen, it was a fantastic fight, and the crowd were up on their feet.
Well, Brad Pauls, actually, I know he said originally he was taking a couple of hundred people there. The amount of noise they made, it was as though they had 1,000 people there.
But I think everyone got behind Pauls that wasn't there for Heaney as well. Because, because they saw Pauls was giving it a go, He was putting in the effort. Now, not saying Heaney wasn't, Heaney was. But I just think Heaney wasn't expecting Pauls to be as big or as strong, I mean, Paul's shots had some venom in them, didn't they? I mean, sitting ringside, you could feel the punches, and Heaney is the older man, and that's the point I kept making. Heaney's age really stood against him in this fight, but his age was his savior as well, because he used his experience and guile and dark arts, as we like to call it in other sports. It's great when your guy's doing it. It's not great when the other guy is doing it. It's just that's the way. Like in rugby, if my team are kind of committing felonies in the scrum, but it's my guys doing it, it's fine. If the other guys are doing it, I'm shouting at the referee. I mean, all credit to Heaney for doing what he did. He was out there to win and he got a draw, but he gets to hold on to his belt. Fair play to him, but it was a cracking fight, and
that fight deserves a rematch.
I'd love to see the rematch, and I'd love to see it, maybe in London.
Nah, you know what? To be fair, put it in Birmingham again. Do it there again. Birmingham's that out.
But Birmingham's a bit too close for Heaney, so maybe Bristol.
Oh, you mean do in the middle sort of thing for both fighters?
Or Cardiff or somewhere, Bristol probably the fairest.
But what stadiums they got in Bristol, really? What
arenas? Yeah, but I don't. No offense, but I don't think a British title is a stadium kind of fight.
Not a stadium fight, but I think that rematch with a good undercard could sell 10,000. I think there was about 8,000 in the arena, maybe a few more.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I
think the tickets would fly out for any rematch, but I'm not so sure if Heaney is willing to go back to that,
Yeah.
And he did say, he said as much on his Facebook Live. So, it would be nice, but hats off to Brad Pauls for an absolute wonderful performance. Tyler Denny was his only loss. He didn't lose this fight; it was a draw. Yeah. Tyler Denny was his only loss, and Tyler Denny is a standard, a very high standard of fighter. So, and I think if Pauls fought Denny again, I'd back Pauls.
Yeah, I would, and I did say, I agree with you. I did say to people before this fight, I said to people at ringside when they was asking me the prediction before the fight, I said I think this is going to be a very, very close fight, and I said if I was going to have a bet on it, which I didn't because I wasn't sure. I said I'd probably go split decision to Nathan Heaney for the result. And when they read the cards out, I thought, we're going to get a split decision here. But
I knew it was going to be a split decision, but I thought it was going to be 2-1 Heaney because but they couldn't even give the fight to Heaney because Pauls was that good. You know what I mean? Yeah. They weren't willing to do that. So I think that shows huge amount of value to Nathan Heaney. Or sorry, to Brad Pauls, that they couldn't even score the fight against him because it would be just completely wrong if they did.
But at least I suppose there wasn't a loser, and at least at the end of a cracking fight, there is a chance they could run it back. But I mean, I
think in the cold light of day when Queensberry and everything looking at it, if they can convince, or maybe even if they could fight that for, say, the IBO middleweight title or something, give Heaney his world title in inverted commas. But I could see that for one of those world titles, I'd have no problem that fight being for one of those titles.
Well, they definitely want to give him his stadium fight, don't they? At Stoke, they definitely want to give him that. So,
and to be honest, I think having seen that fight would sell. What's the capacity at Stoke?
About 28,000, I think.
Yeah. So, but you see,
he would
probably sell 20,000 on his own.
I reckon he could do 10,000. But even though he's a big ticket seller, if you've got 10,000 Nathan Heaney fans in Stoke, and then you got another 10,000 neutrals or undercard fighter fans, 20,000 in Stoke would still be a great achievement. You could always take off one stand behind the goal or something, you can have it the way it is, like where they come out or whatever. If you could do
have an east
20,000
and
at
west
Stoke,
stand and then just seating on pitch side. I think that's a very good idea. Or like you said, close off even just one of the north or the south stands and have that as the entrance side. And then, Jesus, that's a great idea. Darren, write that down, bookmark it. Hello, Queensbury. Darren's after giving a great idea. We want to see the rematch. We want it for the British title and maybe the IBO middleweight. Yeah,
get
it in Stoke. Were they talking about May, or is May too soon?
What we in that Mark? Probably. Well, you'd have to have it in the summer because the football season. June. It's just the only thing you've got to watch is like the Euros and stuff like that.
Yeah, or have it on the eve of the Euros in June.
June, great time.
I mean, summer
Make
in the Midlands.
Make sure you tag Queensbury in my idea then.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, you had the genesis of an idea, and I just embellished it and flourished it, and between the both of us, I think we. And who would you like to see on this undercard now? Who are we putting on the undercard? Who from Queensbury do you want to stick on the undercard? Obviously, your guy Davis has to be on the undercard.
Well, you want to put ticket sellers on again? I think like you'd have Liam Davis on, you'd have Owen Cooper on.
Yeah.
You can forget.
I think Pierce O'Leary would be great to have back on.
Pierce O'Leary. I think I got told ringside that they reckon Joyce is going to Saudi next.
Joe Joyce wouldn't be on this card at all.
Yeah. And what you want to do, maybe get Dennis McCann back on again. What you want to do is get a few ticket sellers, like 20,000.
McCann would definitely.
Well, let's be honest. If you've got Nathan Heaney, Liam Davis, and Owen Cooper on the card, say you had 10,000 Heaney fans, for me that'd be 16,000, 17,000 with Liam Davis, Cooper, maybe 20,000 with them.
Yeah, and I think Pierce O'Leary would bring, between the Irish diaspora and the Irish travelling, I think he could easily bring 1,000.
Yeah.
So there you go, Queensbury.
David Adelaide against. Well, they're saying that's going to be May, but get like Sol Dakers or David.
Yeah, Sol Dakers maybe would be a better shout.
Because he's a Birmingham fighter, he's local to Stoke. Like what you need to do is get like the Midlanders on there.
Because Adelaide's London, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. No. Go with Sol Dakers. No, that's a good shout. And have we what female fighters has he got? We could stick a female fighter on.
Raven Chapman.
There you go.
Yeah, Raven Chapman.
That's so Raven.
Yeah. Put her on the card. She was at ringside as well. She was for this card.
Yeah, absolutely. And so was speaking of people ringside.
Chantal Cameron.
And I bumped into her, lovely girl, and we just had a chat. And I can understand why Katie is hesitant to fight her in her final fight. She wants to kind of go out on a win, but I'd love, say, Chantal to get a big fight in America now because of this. I mean, she was brilliant in Dublin, and people said, "Oh, Irish people won't like you getting your picture taken with her." But if you watch the first fight, the Irish people were very acknowledging that Chantal won. They just knew. Like, it was like in the rugby last week. We're fair. If we think the other guys won, we know it, we say it. But by God, did Katie prove everyone wrong, including myself, in the rematch. But I can see why Katie, I mean, she's older and she's had a lot more fights. I can see maybe why she doesn't want to go back there.
Do you think we see the third or not?
No, we won't see the third. No, I don't think Katie will be fighting Chantal Cameron. I think she's run that race. I'd say there's one fight left in her, and it's one she'd want to get a W on.
Serrano.
But
so what final fight do you think she has?
It'll probably be in the 3 Arena in Dublin, because it doesn't seem to be a runner, this Croke Park. It's just too big and too expensive, security wise, because of the things that happen in Ireland. You need nail down security, and Croke Park is far too open. The 3 Arena, I think, will be a good bet. And then just, who
against though?
You see, this is the $1 million question. It has to be against somebody.
Serrano.
Serrano would be, but Serrano's just box office in America. You know,
Yeah.
she. I think her budget is a bit higher than what Eddie'd be willing to spend. Maybe Natasha Jonas. You know,
Well, they had a good fight before, didn't they? It was a
they
great fight,
really
that was.
did,
Jonas
and
and
you know,
Taylor.
Natasha could have claimed it, but then maybe they don't want Natasha either. I don't know, but whatever it is, I hope it's a lovely swan song for Katie Taylor. She's been an excellent servant to women's boxing and Irish
Absolutely.
boxing. I mean, if people
Yeah.
ask me who the best Irish boxer is right now, I'd say, well, it's Katie Taylor. You know, two-weight undisputed world champion, Katie Taylor. But and even before she won, you know, even before she went Chantel, I would have still said Katie is our number one fighter. There's lots of guys knocking on the door. Paddy Donovan's knocking on the door. Obviously, Big Bang is banging on the door. And you know, we have a few good fighters, but none at the world level that is Katie Taylor, and she's a genuine, you know, world class female boxer.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, Darren, that's been absolutely brilliant. We've just hit the half-hour mark, so I think that's enough of our rambling. But absolutely delighted to have you on.
Cheers, mate.
And yeah, so what fight are you looking forward to next? That's on the cards. That
I'm looking forward to the Sheffield card the weekend. Terry Harper, great fight against Sandy Ryan.
Yeah, that's really going to be a great women's fight.
Great fight, and then we've got Dalton Smith and Zapata. Really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's a good test for Dalton. Now, I was critical. I was saying this was a typical Eddie Hearn thing. Find a kind of an over the hill, you know, world title contender, world champion. He was only a contender in this case, but he was very much a live animal. But that days are past. But still, it's a good test for Dalton Smith.
Yeah,
but I expect Dalton to pass him with flying colours.
Yeah, it's a good step up. I expect Dalton Smith to win, but I agree it's a good step up. But I'm also interested to see how Campbell Hatton gets on in his first area title fight. Is it or area title or something?
Is it an area title? Well, you know,
so, yeah.
hopefully it will. I wish Campbell all the best. I just think it wasn't Campbell's fault. I think it was Eddie and his dad seemed to be gung ho about this Hatton thing, you know. And from watching the documentary, I can see shades of Ricky in his father, you know, and he's now doing it to Campbell. I mean, I don't think Campbell's as good a boxer as his father, good a fighter as his father. And
well, it's early days, but
yeah, but I just think he was like co-headlining in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium was wrong, and that wasn't Campbell's fault. That was Eddie Hearn and Ricky Hatton's fault.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. It's for the Central Area Super Lightweight title.
Yeah. Well, best of luck to him. And who's he fighting?
Flint. He's fighting. What's his name? Flint. What's his James Flint.
And is James the title holder, or is this vacant?
I'm not too sure about it. It might be vacant, or
I've heard of James Flint. So yeah, no, people were telling me James Flint, you know, putting their hands up, he'd be a good opponent to fight. So I think it'll be a good fight. Now that's on Saturday, yes?
Yeah, it's on Saturday. Yeah.
Because on Friday night I'll be hopefully in York Hall. For
the Queensbury card.
Yeah. For
James Beach.
Ash Lane is fighting
against James Beach, is it?
Yeah, fighting for the British title, and best of luck to Ash. He's a good friend of mine, especially from the previous channel. You know, I wish him all the best. So if I get there, even though I said I wouldn't after being 3 times in the UK last week. And saying, no, I'm not going this week. I'm not going this week already. I'm like, yeah, I'm going Friday. But Arsenal let me know my bag is found. So that's my excuse. I have to go back to pick up my bag. I just happened to go when the boxing's on. Ooh, what a
Can't
coincidence.
beat the boxing in the UK.
What?
Can't beat the boxing in the UK.
Oh, no. I love boxing in the UK because in Ireland it's a bit parochial and there's that history, you know, that's leaves a nasty taste in your mouth. I don't feel as safe going to boxing in Ireland as I do going to boxing in London or Birmingham or anywhere.
Oh, okay.
But,
well, I was just going to say the week after is Fraser Clark and Fabio Wardley is the week after.
Yeah.
Great fight.
Yeah, I won tickets to that today.
The what?
I won tickets from Boxer.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Except
fair play. I
I
didn't.
can't go because it's Easter frickin' Sunday.
Yeah, and it's at the O2, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, yeah. But like it's Easter Sunday. I mean, everywhere's going
I
to be
know.
so expensive, and flights are just ridiculous. So I've asked
That's
my cousin if he wanted them, and if he doesn't, then I'll probably raffle them off or something or give them away.
yeah.
Would you be
Well, I was going to
interested,
say,
Darren?
well, I was just the only problem for me is like with the O2 is I've never actually been there because of this reason. Like, is the like you're saying about the cost of stopping over? For me to drive there, it's like over 2 hours, 2.5 maybe with
Yeah.
traffic. Then getting back out to get home, I'd probably get home at like 3, 4 in the morning,
Yeah, yeah, it's
and
it's a
it's just
difficult old one to get in and out of. No, I'll give you that, and
and you
that's
can't
why I
even
said to
park
my
close.
that's why
You
I
can't
said to
even.
my cousin in London because he just get a cab. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's just
But
a
even
nightmare.
he's not sure. So. But anyway,
Yeah.
listen, it will be a good fight. But I'm watching it on television. It's Easter Sunday.
Oh, I'll definitely watch it. Definitely.
No, but what I mean is, I'm not traveling to the UK over Easter. Easter, I'm going to be with my family, and I'll watch the fight that night. You know.
Yeah. Good card as well. Some decent
Oh, it is
fights
a
on
good
there.
card, but it's just the wrong day. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
If they waited a week, I'd have been there, but
Mm,
no, not Easter Sunday.
yeah. I do get what you mean. Yeah, definitely.
And the cost as well, the extra, everything's dearer on bank holidays.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially London.
Oh Jesus. Yeah.
I know.
Anyway, Darren, you've been absolutely brilliant. Thanks for your time. And
No
thanks
problem,
for
mate.
giving me the heads up on those fights coming up. And best of luck
No worries.
to all your guys and girls fighting. I am looking forward to Harper and Ryan. I think that'll be a good fight.
Yeah, be good. Yeah, be a good fight.
But yeah, so thank you very much. So
Yeah.
Gurmagad agus Slán, that means that's what I said in English, just in Irish. And
Okay.
yeah, here's to some more great boxing coming up. Take care.
Absolutely.
Slán.
Cheers. Yeah, man.